Okay, so we're back.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
We are back for day 2.
We've been reading away overnight, reading the next few chapters of this book, and we're ready to talk to you about what happens next in The Miseducation of Cameron Post, which I think is the first time we've mentioned the title of this book, actually.
Yes.
FYI, that's what we're reading.
Yeah, the miseducation. Miseducation would mean like being taught in a wrong way or being taught in a way that's like going to kind of make you believe in some like wrong ideas.
Right, right, exactly. And you'll see how that plays out in a minute. So we know that this book is a coming of age story. We've already talked about that, but it's also a coming out story, especially for Cameron. So we both have our own, experiences growing up queer and our own experiences coming out. Did you go through that when you were in high school, or did that happen later?
No, I was interested in both girls and boys for like a long time, and then I just sort of only became interested in girls. But that was by the time I was 25. I think I came out to my family when I was 25. And luckily my family is very progressive, so like they're very accepting. I'm very lucky about that. Yeah, how about you?
Mine was pretty easy as well.
Lucky us.
Quite lucky. I went through it when I was in high school, so I kind of started to get a sense of maybe being a bit different when I was like maybe 11 or 12, quite young, but didn't really have any crushes or didn't do anything about it until I was a bit older, I think, like not until I was about 17. So it was just kind of feeling very confused for a long time about all of my male friends wanted to do these things, and I just for some reason didn't feel that excited about doing them.
And you kind of don't see any examples of what another choice might be.
Right, okay. Like I knew that there was a gay bar in my town, but it seemed like a really extreme, weird place to go, and I didn't want to go near it. But I had the same experience with my family. I came out to my friends when I was at the end of high school, last year of high school, and they were all very fine. Good. And my parents, despite being a little bit wooden in some ways, were also super fine with it as well. So
that's good.
So it's been, So it's been a pretty good experience, but it's not like that for everyone. That's important to remember.
Even today.
Yes, exactly. And we're actually going to see an example of that in the story. So let's get started.
Reading. The Miseducation of Cameron Post. The following day, everything falls apart. When Cameron gets home from work, Pastor Crawford, Aunt Ruth, and Ruth's boyfriend, Roy, are all waiting for her. They believe that what happened is all Cameron's fault and that she needs a change of scene. Cameron is sent to God's Promise, a school described as a center for healing. What it is, in reality, is a gay conversion camp. The program requires that students attend support groups, Bible study, and classes that aim to make them straight. In time, Cameron sees how terrible God's promise is. Gay people are compared to murderers, and many students soon become depressed. After a particularly hateful class, one boy, Mark, even mutilates himself. After this, Cameron decides to escape God's promise. After the summer exams, Cameron convinces the camp to let her and 2 friends go on a hike. This is their chance to get back to Miles City, and the plan is a success. However, on the way, they pass a lake that is familiar to Cameron. It's the place where her parents' car crashed. Cameron walks out into the water, finally able to accept her loss and look forward to the future.
All right, so today's day 2. We've just seen that Ty has convinced his sister Coley, who Cameron is dating, to tell the pastor about what they've been doing. The following day, everything falls apart.
Ooh, okay, so things did not go well. No, because when everything falls apart, we mean that like all the plans or everything in a situation has gone wrong. So everything is about to go wrong for Cameron. I wonder what could have happened.
Well,
we're about to see, yes. When Cameron gets home from work, Pastor Crawford, Aunt Ruth, and Ruth's boyfriend Roy are all waiting for her. Why could that be? It sounds like an intervention.
Yeah, when all the family is kind of like, standing there waiting for you, they have something specific to tell you.
Right.
They believe that what happened is all Cameron's fault, and that she needs a change of scene. So they're blaming her as though she's done something wrong.
Right. I think she already has a little bit of a weird relationship with Aunt Ruth because they're very different people.
Yeah.
And I think Aunt Ruth also takes this opportunity to give her another reason to kind of be angry at Cameron. So she suggests a change of scene, which is not a good thing. That is something we say when we need to get away from somewhere. So I could say, I'm going to Kanting this weekend. I just need a change of scene. I'm tired of Taipei. I need to go to the beach, relax.
That's not bad. Not in itself.
It has a bad meaning for Taipei in a way, It means that you were kind of done with that thing. Bored here or just kind of tired of what I'm doing here. So that's what her aunt means. She means that she wants to send her away. But where are they going to send her? Well, we're about to see. Cameron is sent to God's Promise, a school described as a center for healing.
Healing from what?
Exactly, because heal is a verb, and when we heal someone, we make them better, especially in non-scientific ways. So you can heal someone with magic, or you can heal someone with prayer.
Yeah, or heal an injury too.
Or heal an injury, yes. But we don't so much say doctors heal diseases, they cure diseases.
Yeah, they cure.
Or they treat diseases. So in the article, we aren't using heal as a verb, we're using it as a noun by adding ing. So healing is the act of making someone better. Again, magic, prayer, or something else. So sadly, we're about to find out that this is not completely true when we're calling it a center for healing. But let's look at an example sentence first, which shows us how to use heal. This potion is said to have special healing powers that can cure most diseases.
Wow. Special. But this is not a healing camp. What it is, in reality, is a gay conversion camp. Yeah. So these are, they still exist in many, many parts of the world, including some places in the US. A gay conversion camp is a camp, like a long-term overnight camp. You have to stay there, where people who are attracted to people of the same sex, they're sent there to turn them straight, or sometimes they'll go themselves if they just feel really, really guilty. These are just one kind of therapy that used to be, in some places still is, commonly done to gay people of any age, but especially young gay people, especially teenagers, because they think
they're with their parents as well, and
well, and they think like, well, their mind is still young, they can still be turned right, that sort of thing. So they're taught how to act straight, they're encouraged to be romantic with opposite sex people, and they're told that their feelings for same-sex people aren't natural and they need to be cured. So some gay conversion therapies or gay conversion camps are worse than others, but they can all cause really serious harm and make them feel like they're bad people for something they can't control.
Exactly, because your sexuality is not something that you can change. It's just something natural that's within you, that just is, you know? You can't say, I would like to be attracted to women now, so I'm going to make myself attractive. You could force yourself in some situations.
You could force yourself to marry a woman, but that doesn't mean that you're attracted to women suddenly.
And it's not going to be great for the woman either, because
it's not fair for her.
Yeah, who wants to be someone's pity bride? Like...
That's so sad.
It's a really sad thing to do. Yeah. So they're trying to do something which is not possible, and let's talk about the program first before we get into the effects, because we are going to talk about those in a minute. The program requires that students attend support groups, Bible study, and classes that aim to make them straight. Okay, so they are on a special program that aims to make them straight. And here when we say straight, we mean heterosexual. So a straight person is a man who likes women or a woman who likes men, or the opposite sex. Anyway, program, that is our next vocab word. It's a noun and it's another word for a course or a class. but it's normally not one that you take at school. So for example, if you go to an English camp, the program you're on might include classes, activities in English, and team games. So those are different things on the program. They are all things that you'll do while you're on that course. They're part of the program. A phrase you might hear English speakers use a lot, though, is get with the program as well, which is something we say when we think someone is uninformed or doesn't know enough about something that they should know about. So, for example, you don't know what time math class starts? It's the 5th week of the semester, Kat. Get with the program. Let's look at an example sentence for program as we saw it in the article, though. Driver safety, theory, and driving lessons on the road were all part of the driver's education program.
Yeah, so she's being sent to this camp, and they have to do a whole bunch of different stuff to turn them straight. But these are, for sure. But here we see this grammar point, which is somebody suggests or requires or orders that somebody else do something. So we have this S1 plus this like commanding verb, which is either suggest, require, order, S2, and then maybe should, I don't usually use should, with a be verb or a verb. So this is a grammar structure that shows soft or hard commands. Usually we use this to talk about someone else giving the command, but sometimes with soft commands like suggest, we might say it ourselves. So for example, I suggest that you go to bed earlier tonight since you're so tired. So S1 does the command, that's I. S2 is the person getting it, that's you. The verb is an infinitive always, so we don't actually change it. So like eat, do, be, walk, make. We don't put an S on it, we don't put an ED on it, no matter what the subject is. Now, here's an example with require. And it says, this class requires that every student speak Spanish at an advanced level. So here, we don't say student speaks Spanish, we say student speaks Spanish, because we have that at the beginning. So subject 1 would be this class, subject 2 is every student, and the verb is speak Spanish. Now in order, the judge ordered that the killer be sentenced to... The judge ordered that the killer be sentenced to life in prison.
I hope the judge said it better.
I'm sure he did. I'm sure he said it much more authoritatively than me. The judge is S1, the killer is S2, and then the verb is be sentenced. So we don't change it to is or was, we just have be sentenced. Yeah.
Okay, yes. Sentenced to life.
Yes.
Okay, so we also saw aim to, that phrase. We use the phrase aim to when we want to say that an action is for a particular purpose. We're saying that the camp tries to make kids straight, not gay. Okay, so let's carry on. What is this camp like?
Well, apparently not too good. Because the article says, in time, Cameron sees how terrible God's promise is.
It's very, very bad. Gay people are compared to murderers, and many students soon become depressed.
Yeah, if somebody told me that I was as bad as a murderer, I think I would also become depressed.
Especially if it's everybody in a place, you know, and it's happening all the time. Anyway, let's find out more about what depressed means. Okay, so depressed is an adjective, and when someone is depressed, they feel very sad and lonely. People can become depressed after they go through something very difficult or unpleasant, such as losing a family member, or for any other reason for that matter. It can just happen naturally. For this reason, depression, the noun form of the word, isn't just an emotion, it's a medical condition. 是一个疾病. People can overcome depression by talking to a therapist, a special doctor who listens to people's problems. It's important to remember that if you ever feel depressed, that there is always lots of help available to you here in Taiwan. The Taiwan Institute of Psychotherapy, for example, has lots of good therapists around the country. Anyway, let's take a look at an example sentence for depressed. Following the death of her mother, Mary became depressed, but with the help of a therapist, she eventually overcame her depression.
So yeah, this camp is making people depressed. It's telling people that they're like murderers. These are kids, by the way. These are kids. And after a particularly hateful class, one boy, Mark, even mutilates himself.
Wow, okay.
It's really, that's not good.
Yes, mutilate is a very strong word. We don't use this one that often. We use it to emphasize that something's very bad. It's a verb and it means to harm or destroy a living person or animal's body. If you cut off your arm, or a dead body as well. If you cut off your arm, for example, you would have mutilated yourself.
Yeah, or if you have a big scar on your face.
Yes, if you did that to yourself.
Yeah,
then,
or somebody did it
or
to
someone
you.
did it to you. You would be mutilated. What we're talking about here is very, very serious. Mark is very depressed because he has been because of how he's been treated at the camp, and he does some very bad things to his body.
Yeah, yeah, it's very sad.
After this, Cameron decides to escape God's promise. Until now, she's been thinking, I can just keep faking progress. I can keep going through these classes and just going like,
just pretend that I'm turning straight. But after this, you know, she sees that it's really actually very, very hurtful, and she decides this can't go on.
I can't
she
stay
decides
here.
to escape. When we talk about Cameron wanting to escape somewhere, this is a verb that means run away and get free of something or somebody or somewhere. If you are trapped or you're feeling in danger or you're feeling very stressed about something, you might feel like you want to get out and go away. When you do get out, you escape. Now, this could be something not that serious, like you say you want to escape from your homework for a little while and have some relaxing time. Or it could be something very, very urgent, like escaping a burning building with your life. I think Cameron's case is pretty serious, though, since she's being held at this camp against her will. She didn't want to go, she was made to go. Now, an example sentence for escape might be, a group of prisoners tried to escape the walls of the prison by digging a long tunnel out of the building.
Okay, so after the summer exams, don't know what those could be, Cameron convinces the camp to let her and two friends go on a hike.
So convince here, we saw persuade in the first day. Convince is pretty much the same. It's just a different word for it. It means to make someone agree with you or agree to do something by giving them reasons to do it until they change their mind. So we say convince somebody to verb, convince somebody to do something, or the opposite, convince somebody not to do something. So Cameron does her best to change the minds of the camp leaders and say like, hey, we want to go on a hike. It's going to be
We've
fun.
been working really hard.
Yeah, and we'll get some fresh air. We'll feel the presence of God. Probably she said something religious until they let her and her friends leave the camp for a hike on their own. So an example sentence might be, I finally convinced my parents to let me adopt a puppy. Yay! So we're going to pick her up tomorrow. I don't have a puppy. I have two cats though.
Okay, so they get this hike plan together, and this is their chance to get back to Miles City. And the plan is a success.
Yeah.
Wow.
Means they succeeded. They成功. All right. However, on the way, they pass a lake that is familiar to Cameron. If you guys remember, I mentioned a lake earlier.
Yes, we did mention a lake in day one, and that's why it's familiar to Cameron. Now, familiar is an adjective, and it means 熟悉. So when we are familiar with something, we know a lot about it, or we are used to it. Cameron knows this lake from her past. Therefore, she is familiar with it. She recognizes it, she sees it, and she's like, I've been here before. She's familiar with it. We could also use familiar in this example sentence. George has lived in Taipei for 3 years, so he is quite familiar with its streets.
That's good. Yeah, it's good to know where you're going.
He knows how to get around.
Yeah. I mean, I think I'm familiar with Taipei streets too. Pretty good degree as well.
With Yonghe.
Yeah, Yonghe and Da'an and basically like the southern part of Taipei. I'm very familiar.
South Taipei.
Yep. Now the article says it's the place where her parents' car crashed. So yeah, we mentioned her parents crashed into a lake. They died there, and she is there again now, like years after. So,
yes, she is. Cameron walks out into the water and finally able to accept her loss and look forward to the future. Okay, so she wades out. We can wade out into water when we walk.
water.
I was listening to that song this morning. When we walk out into the water, you walk in water, shallow water, you are wading. So she walks out into the water and is able to look forward to the future. So when we look forward to something, we are thinking about an event or the future and we are excited or happy about it. Now that Cameron has accepted her loss, she has become more okay with what happened to her parents. Maybe not fully okay, but she is closer to that. She is free of the camp and she has learned more about herself. She is able to be excited about her future. Her whole life is ahead of her. Unfortunately, that is not the case for many people who leave gay conversion camps, as we're about to find out in today's For You chat.
For You chat.
Okay.
So our For You chat question today is, what are some problems that an LGBTQ person, that means a person who's lesbian, gay, bi, trans, or queer, might face after leaving a gay conversion camp? What do you think?
Right. It depends on how they are when they leave, but I think even if they still feel comfortable with that, I think they're not going to be comfortable with their sexuality.
Yeah, even if they escape like Cameron did, they're probably going to have some issues.
I think they'll be a little bit like Coley in a way. And the best kind of outcome, the best situation would be that they just feel a lot of shame, especially when they start to have their first relationships after the camp. They're going to be thinking, so many people think this is wrong, and what if they're right? What if God does hate me?
They're going to remember what people said to them about, like, this is like murder, this is very sinful, that sort of thing.
Exactly. So they're going to have all of that. And, you know, we already talked about, like, one thing that happened to Mark, what he did to himself. Like, some people, a lot of people become very suicidal as well. Which we'll get into later.
Like bitterness toward their family because their family made them do this or hurt them. That sort of thing.
Right, because these camps are like prisons. You know, people stay there for, you know, a year sometimes. You could be there for 2 years. And so having that negativeness over you all the time just is going to cause a lot of problems. Anyway, we're going to be talking more. You don't want to go. No. We're going to talk more about gay conversion camps in day 3. And so we will see you then. For English for You, I'm Seb.
I'm Kat.
And bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
The Miseducation of Cameron Post. The following day, everything falls apart. When Cameron gets home from work, Pastor Crawford, Aunt Ruth, and Ruth's boyfriend, Roy, are all waiting for her. They believe that what happened is all Cameron's fault and that she needs a change of scene. Cameron is sent to God's Promise, a school described as a center for healing. What it is, in reality, is a gay conversion camp. The program requires that students attend support groups, Bible study, and classes that aim to make them straight. In time, Cameron sees how terrible God's promise is. Gay people are compared to murderers, and many students soon become depressed. After a particularly hateful class, one boy, Mark, even mutilates himself. After this, Cameron decides to escape God's promise. After the summer exams, Cameron convinces the camp to let her and 2 friends go on a hike. This is their chance to get back to Miles City, and the plan is a success. However, on the way, they pass a lake that is familiar to Cameron. It's the place where her parents' car crashed. Cameron walks out into the water, finally able to accept her loss and look forward to the future.
Vocabulary Review.
Healing. Many local people believe that these hot springs are good for healing, so they come here to bathe when they are sick. Program. In this program, You'll get to learn the basics of how to start up and run your own business. Depressed. Elliot still couldn't find a job even a year after finishing college, and the stress of looking made him depressed. Escape. The two criminals escaped from the prison by digging a tunnel under its walls. Convince. After dating for a few years, Emma finally convinced her boyfriend to move in with her. Familiar. John is familiar with New York because he has lived there since he was a child.
字汇小补帖
Gay conversion camp. Mutilate.
以上节目是由活用空中美语制作。活用空中美语杂志，请洽询全国各大书店。如欲索取试听教材，请来电02-2364-4000 02-2364-4000，或上网查询，网址是 www.english4u.net www.english4u.net